Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's great to be here after an historic election yesterday with the largest voter turnout in 40 years. I'm honored that United Conservatives received a strong mandate from Albertans to get Alberta back to work, to grow our economy, create jobs, get pipelines built, and to stand up for Alberta and a fair deal in the Canadian Federation. Yesterday, over 55% of voters cast ballots for United Conservative candidates for our positive plan to get Alberta back to work. That's the highest share of popular vote for a political party in Alberta since 2001, and the second highest since 1982, in an election with the highest voter turnout, as I've said, in nearly 4 decades. We are also honored yesterday to have received the largest number of votes cast for a political party in Alberta electoral history, and to have won a strong majority. One of the messages from yesterday's result is that unity worked. When we first proposed uniting free enterprise Albertans into one big tent coalition of common sense values, a lot of people said it wouldn't work and it couldn't be done. But yesterday, the combined vote share the vote share of the United Conservative Party was substantially higher than the combined vote share of our two legacy parties in the last election. It turned out that we were right all along, that we were stronger together, that there was a positive synergy as we built what is now the largest provincial political party in Canada, which will form Alberta's next government. And we will be a government with a strong mandate to implement the detailed plan on which we ran. 117 pages and 375 positive ideas. Never before have we seen such a detailed blueprint for a future government presented to voters. And we can't wait to get to work in implementing that plan, in getting Alberta back to work. I said last night that we wanted to thank the leaders of all other parties and all candidates who ran, and I'd like to repeat that. To put your name on the ballot, to seek the confidence of your fellow citizens is not for the faint of heart. It requires a degree of commitment and a real passion for our province. So for the candidates and volunteers of all other parties and our Premier Rachel Notley, Mr. Khan and Mr. Mandel, I'd like to reiterate my gratitude to them for their love for this province as exemplified in the past 29 days. I said last night that we will seek to be a government for all Albertans, and I mean that. Of course, not every Albertan will agree with all of our policies that we ran on or that we implement, but I can give you this commitment. We will listen, and we will seek to act in good faith. Let me send a message in particular to the people of this great city of Edmonton and region. I was pleased last night to see the election of several United Conservative future MLAs from the Edmonton and Capital region. But I wish we had elected more, and it's sad for me to see a number of really great candidates running for the Conservative Party in Edmonton who didn't make it past the finish line. But let me be clear, Edmonton will continue to be deeply important to our work in creating economic growth and jobs. Edmonton has been affected by these 4 years of economic decline and stagnation, perhaps not quite as badly as other parts of the province. But as I crisscrossed this city and the surrounding areas, I met countless Edmontonians who've been affected by the lack of pipelines, by higher taxes, who are concerned about bigger government debt, and who want a government focused on jobs, growth, and the economy. We'll be there for all Edmontonians, including for those who work in our public sector. As I've said before, we want to empower frontline public sector workers, our nurses, teachers, and others to make more decisions. We want to liberate them, I should say, from overbearing centralized bureaucracy, and we want to grow our economy so that we have the resources needed to fund high-quality public services. So our government will do everything to reach out to listen, and to ensure that we represent the best interests of Edmontonians now and in the future. Earlier this afternoon, I had the honor of meeting with Her Honor, the Lieutenant Governor, who invited me to form Her Majesty's next Alberta government. I accepted that invitation and indicated to Her Honor that we would seek a transition and the swearing in of a new cabinet on April the 30th. It is also my hope that we will be in a position to convene the first sitting of Alberta's next legislature in the third week of May. I can also announce that we are work has already begun in planning to implement the agenda which Albertans endorsed yesterday. So Bill number 1 in that legislature session will be the Carbon Tax Repeal Act. Bill number 2 will be the Open for Business Act. We will also pass the first installment of the job creation tax cut in that first session of the legislature, part of a plan that will create at least 55,000 new full-time private sector jobs. We will also begin implementing immediately our red tape reduction action plan to move Alberta from the most over-regulated and slowest moving economy in Canada to one of the fastest moving and freest economies in all of North America. Later this week, I will be meeting with Indigenous leaders from across Canada to deepen the commitment on which we ran to ensure that our First Nations people are real partners in prosperity, particularly in the responsible development of our resources. Today I've also already been in discussions with business leaders in Alberta and others outside of this province who are deeply interested in investing more in this province with a government that will welcome that investment, that will make us the most competitive and desirable place in Canada in which to create jobs. So I restate what I've said last night and over the last 4 weeks. For those Albertans who have been anxious about their economic future, whose incomes have been cut, who have lost their jobs, their homes, or their hope. For all of those Albertans, hope is on the way. A government that will be obsessed with job creation and economic growth, with getting a fair deal for Alberta in the Canadian Federation. We're already off to a great start, and I can't wait for the days that are yet to come, brighter days for the people of Alberta.